Everyone to our live stream here on Lead Chess and Twitch, International Master William Pascal, along with the Ponda. As always, our partner in crime. We got fun openings, our new name for it. We used to call it weird openings, but to make it more fun, we're calling them fun openings. So fun openings on Wednesday. I'm playing some blitz and rapid chess here. Let's get a little air. Blitz and rapid chess. 5-3 through 7+3. Welcome, Astrobait. I noticed that Astrobait got some really tough pairings in the streamer battle yesterday. It's not easy being like 1500 and getting paired with 2600s. So, good fight, Astrobait. Taking out Cormoran with an upset victory yesterday, though. Good job. Trolling a roll. Oh no, new Twitch is horrendous. You must be seeing a different Twitch than me, because my Twitch didn't change since yesterday. Troll, are you on mobile? You got the green. No, you're on a desktop. I mean, you're on a PC or something. Desktop. Anyway, let's play some games, guys. I got a challenge here from Troll. I've got till 1:15. I have to leave a little bit early today. Usually I'm here till 2.5 hours into the stream, but I have a recording. But what do you mean? What are you talking about? The new Twitch is horrendous. Yeah. Well, it's a matter of investing capital into the business, man. I think that's the problem that a lot of companies just don't get. You need to continuously make a better product. All right, like, Lead Chess has been laggy for me. I've got a good ping now, 62, it's fine. Knight's in the center. Everything's organized. This happens a lot. It seems like the bishops are next to each other. Is it just me, or does that happen like every other game? What is statistical chance in chess 960? Here's a good math problem for your SAT. What is the statistical chance in chess 960 that the bishops will be located next to each other? I'm going to guess 1 in 7, but I could be very, very wrong. Probably very wrong. All right, you're copying me. Easy to do that. Brainlessly copying my moves, as always. Is it me, or is being white more of an advantage in chess 960 than it is in normal chess? What do you think, Troll? I feel like being white is more of an advantage. It's exacerbated. The advantage is exacerbated. Acerbated. My advantage has been acerbated. Is this move even necessary for something like to weaken my king? I'm so used to a bishop on c1, right? Does it make sense here to do that? Why do I need to play that move? Just to support e4? Get a little control of that square? Quite the aggressive move there, Troll. Advantaged. Fun Chess Wednesday with unusual openings. I don't see anything different about Twitch today as opposed to yesterday. Maybe you're on a different update schedule there. Troll on a roll. Recently Twitch changed its layout and I don't like it, but that was like a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. It's horrible. I like the way it used to be. The general layout. Now I'm having second thoughts about this plan of castling kingside. Hanging Pondas. Troll did exchange away from the center here. Your Twitch app includes a suggestion box. I don't know. I don't use Twitch on mobile. I'm like, 1 in 7. 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 1 Not very phone oriented. How about b5 here, Troll? Would you like to play that move? It's hard waking up playing chess 960. Guys, welcome to the stream. Is my title good? LeeChess.org is in the title. We're live. Sound is here, video. What kind of vacuum do you prefer, Troll? Troll is not really an exchanger by nature. I was making fun of DK Guy yesterday for playing for exchanges, but to be fair, I mean, I often run to make exchanges when I'm lower on time. I feel comfortable in the end game. I couldn't see myself castling properly in this game anyway, so we're just maintaining the position with King D2. How many of you would play that move? Raise your hand if you would play King D2. This should be like a Zoom chat or whatever. Can you raise your hand in Zoom? I've never used it. Zoom meetings or whatever. You want to play Rook A6? Is that what you're doing there? General expansion? Expansion pack. Troll, very well coordinated. Yeah, A4 is a nice move. Problem. I am none too happy with this position. None too happy. But it's a big but. Knight D4. You're a castle addict. Masturbate. Troll made that decision very quickly to play knight takes c3 in a pretty complex position. Doesn't this seem strange to make that move so quickly? I mean, you could consider moving the knight away. Consider taking on d4. He pretty quickly settled on that move. I was a little concerned with knight b6, like avoiding exchanges, but that would mess up his pawn structure. I like that I'm building my center. How's this for a fortress? Who needs to castle? Masturbate. With a wall like that only Donald Trump could be proud of. Alright. Do you want to leave this f-pawn to its fate and just create a sort of turret? That's a funny pawn structure. ED. But objectively, this is more correct. I think. I don't know. It's like a jackhammer really sounds close. Hope it's not in my building. I'm gonna have to go check that. Apartment on the other side of the courtyard for me is being emptied out and renovated. I'm really hoping there's no jackhammering involved. The whole city park is like under construction across the street, so there's construction everywhere in my area here. It's been an ongoing hassle. Still prefer it to lawnmowers though. But the jackhammer just started. I'm curious where it's coming from. Could be on the street too. Lots of possibilities. Alright, Troll, what's up? How's your bishop doing? How's my bishop doing? Let's just agree to take them away. Maybe c4. Fortress Amoeba. It sounds like a street construction deal. It sounds too close to be across in the park, but too far away to be across the courtyard. Troll to roll, that is a weird move. I was actually expecting rook a6. That looks like kind of dangerous, you know, here. Man, but c6 is a strange looking move, weakening your dark squares. This contains no threat whatsoever. Any threat to black's position is purely incidental. It was a positional move, just trying to control the weak squares in this area over here. I really didn't mean to upset the equilibrium. Yeah, there's no ambulances now, but there is this really nasty jackhammer. Which just started the minute 2 minutes after I started the stream. I love that. Like, they know that I'm streaming. It's a conspiracy. Like, I don't know, half the city of Budapest must be under construction. I think that's the case in a lot of cities. When I visited Berlin years ago, back in like 2015, every building was under construction. There were like cranes on every corner. The industry is booming. It was slowed down by coronavirus here, I guess, a little bit, although construction not so much as other things. Like in the United States and other countries, they probably like shut down construction. Not entirely the case here. You're trying to hurt me. I don't like that. That's not nice. He's got a plan now. Taco trucks on every corner. I wish. Cranes on every corner. I don't know, Troll's getting kind of frisky. Threatening my pawns now? Damn, dude. I love rook a1. Man, that better not be the apartment across. That's going to be a disaster if it is. Very, very nice positional play here. How's our tactics? You gotta be careful with the amoeba. You don't want to make it angry. Look before you leap. And all that stuff. The angry amoeba. I don't think Troll would be very good at parkour. Yet there may still be some tricks here for black. My bishop is very limited in mobility. Oof. Tricky situation, actually. I'm a little scared. For good reason. Queen g3. This might even be better. Absolute genius. An absolute genius. That's got to be in my house, man. That's too close. The jackhammer. That's not good. Troll, what are you doing to me? I don't like that bishop g5 idea. Man, I mean, seriously? If pawn takes bishop, bishop g5 with all sorts of bad stuff. I don't know. Actually, not sure this even works, to be honest. He has queen g3 there. So he's probably better here. No, I think in this position you can even play rook f4, queen g3. No? See, you missed this move. Now you're actually winning. Thank you for the draw. It was very generous of you to give me a draw there. That's the new sound of my stream for the next month or so. Great. So the worst has been confirmed. That is my building. Oh my god. We got a permanent jackhammer across the way. I was hoping it was in like the street across the street. You guys can't believe how close that is. I'm lucky that it's not louder. Wow, troll. So, I'm actually very fortunate to get a draw here. He's winning with queen g3. I can't take this. The attack is devastating. So, e4 was a mistake in a slightly worse position. Interestingly, here you can even play queen h5 and be winning. There's just too many weak points in white's position. And no coordination. Alright, autophagist and Hanishberger. Well, instead of ambulances, we now have a jackhammer on the other side of my courtyard. I've got the door closed laterally, but the sound is actually coming from up. It's so loud that the sound is going up into the air, coming over and coming down into my skylight. If it was like directly through the... if it was like a direct line, it would be incredibly loud. So, I don't know, ambulances aren't as bad as jackhammers in general. A draw is good. I think so too, troll. I'm happy. Asabe, what's making you say Budapest is chess central? Focusing on the game. The Mr. Coffee attack. A favorite of Gada, the young Gada, employing the Tory attack frequently. This is a move oddly not very common. Well, I guess the move order is strange. I mean, it would normally be like bishop g5 here, but even so, very few people play knight e4. This particular position, I don't feel like knight e4 is a constructive move really for black, I guess. At the end of the day, he may just simply trade pieces. Knight d7. Wow. That's kind of annoying, dude. I just randomly played this opening, but apparently Autophagus is an expert on some kind of anti-Tory attack move order that trades off all the pieces. Just felt like playing something random. I'm supposed to be playing unusual openings. The Tory doesn't really count as an unusual opening, but fun was the word. I don't think I'm having fun. The first game, Chess 960, doesn't count. You can challenge me if you have 100 games here on Lead Chess. You have an established account. If it's a new account, I won't play. Casual, 5-3 through 7 plus 3. Established account with approximately 100 plus games. There it is, Mubat. Nice. Mubat just explained it. Yeah, the challenge. Heads up. Spotting the command there. Yeah, it's actually a nice weather here. It's a good thing we've got the jackhammers. The first really beautiful day in like 2 weeks, and the entire surface of the floor of my neighbor's apartment across the courtyard's being jackhammered away. They've got to entirely renovate a whole old apartment that hasn't been touched since like the 40s. This old couple lived there, and I saw them taking out some of the original paneling and doors, and I don't think the stuff has been touched. I was in their apartment once. I don't think the thing has been touched since like literally nothing's been renovated since the 40s. Probably like the end of the World War or something. So they're gonna like just tear up this entire. The whole thing is just totally gonna be ripped apart. That should take, I don't know, a good month or so. The worst part is when they jackhammer the floor. They have to jackhammer the whole floor. I guess it's mostly like cement floors. So bishop e3, interesting. And you're gonna play g5 after that? Autophagus has a thing for trading pieces, apparently. I was joking about DK guy yesterday. I do it because I like endgames, honestly. Not that I'm playing for a draw, but I feel comfortable in simplified positions. I think that some people exchange pieces sort of pathologically because they're afraid or because they want to trade pieces and reach a drawn position. I feel safety in trading pieces to some extent. I have confidence in my endgame. This player has a kind of unusual style. Just when I thought he was going to castle queenside, he castled kingside. So much for that theory. Something flowing about Black's game? Flowy. Well, I don't know who has a good bishop and who has a bad bishop here, considering my space advantage. It's kind of difficult to define. The queen is really irritating. It's a very strange style of play, I would say. Doesn't create too many weaknesses. Now he's avoiding the exchange of queens here. His queen is almost trapped. It's a very strange style of play, honestly. I can't really get a finger on this. He obviously doesn't really care too much about space, but trying to get me to overextend myself, that's a kind of unusual advanced style of play. For this rating, 2019 Lead Chess, that would make you about 1,800 FIDE. Incredibly fast pace. I thought he should have played anything but pawn takes pawn there. It's like, wow. Almost impossible to predict their moves. Predict. Strange hypermodern style. At this rating level, it's kind of unusual. You might see it with people who are like 2200. Start to see more hypermodernism there. Okay. Wow. Queen G7. That's a kind of cool move to play. Curious what the engine says about queen g7. That looks like an extremely strong move. Such a strange style where you don't make pawn moves. A good appreciation of overextension. I don't think rook takes e7 was good, Mr. Coffee. Queen g7, like you're pathologically not allowed to trade queens or something? Does that seem weird? Or is it just me? Most people, if they're facing a higher rated player, would be willing to trade queens. But it's like black can't trade queens. They're unwilling to ever trade queens under any circumstances for some reason. It seems strange to me. Time trouble outplay. I mean, I'm like 400 rating points higher than him. He expects me to be outplayed in time pressure. I mean, that's like, why would he be 2,000? I would be 2,400 in blitz chess. That's a little strange. If you're playing a lower rated player, maybe it would make sense. Or if he were truly like a master, not really 2,000, I guess. If he were really stronger than his rating, it would make sense. He was able to calculate that instantaneously. Now he loses on time. There's something really weird about this game. Now he loses on time the minute he has a winning position. I don't know what the deal is with this. I want to check the move Queen G7 when he played that to see if that's the engine's #1 move. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, this is an extremely subtle move, although logical. That's just a really weird game. I don't know. Nobody plays like that. Okay, Hanishberger. No, I mean, I don't know that he's an engine. I'm just saying that there's something weird about his style for that rating level, you know? He's obviously not playing all engine moves. But the sort of presence of mind and the confidence not to trade queens again and again, you know, He definitely plays very strangely. Not like a normal human. For that rating, you know. I don't understand why he's losing on time when he was like quicker than me. Maybe he just had like got a winning position, so he felt justified now that he can lose on time. Once he achieved a winning position. Yeah, I mean sometimes I joke that people are using their mobile phones to play. Like imagine if you played your phone. But no, I mean he's not strong enough to be a computer. There's still something weird about it. I'm supposed to play unusual openings. A little foggy-headed. Fun openings. We were lost there. But I think like way stronger than 2017 or whatever their rating was supposed to be too. Extremely subtle. Moves like 97 in the opening. Not too many people would have the presence of mind to play that. This is an extremely thoughtful order of moves by Black on move 4. Yeah, I mean the weird screen name too. What's that about? Okay, so this drops a pawn. I mean, I'm not one really like to grab random pawns, but this is gonna undermine his knight, and actually you gotta at least momentarily consider queen c5. Ite if you're... Oh, you're 2200. Wow, nice. Strong player. Yeah. Absolutely. Streamer battle yesterday, I didn't really answer earlier. We finished last. We didn't contract a lot of hired guns to play on the team. I didn't know, you know. I didn't think those other teams were going to be as strong as they were. All of a sudden, all these strong players started coming out of the woodwork for those other teams. When I looked at the list like yesterday before the thing started, it wasn't that scary. And then like just as it started, all these people started showing up. So our team was like by far the worst on paper. But we actually did credibly. I mean, we came close to 6th place. With a little bit of a better result, we would have made it like to 6th or 5th place. This is kind of dangerous. But Heinisberger is just playing too fast. F6 is possible. That's a good move. Wow. This is still not so easy. Alright, we should be winning. Kind of tricky. Technical position, though. It's ridiculously... I mean, you're 1500 and you're playing that fast. Like, in a 5+3 game. Slow down. You could be like 1900 if you would actually take your time. I mean, here, bishop takes c7 is forced. You gain the base of my pawn chain, the d6 pawn. That's the only way you're going to survive this game. If Heinisberger would just slow down and use even half their time, they would have a much better chance here. Just use half your time and you'd be 1800. I mean, automatically. if you're going to give time odds, you're going to play someone who's 1,000 points higher than you or 800 points higher than you, and you're going to give them time odds of like 5 minutes to 1, which is essentially what you're doing. You're giving an international master time odds. I mean, the chances are you're going to lose. There's just way too much addiction to this playing super fast that people just can't stop themselves. We don't talk about chess.com. All right. Shay.com. Honeyschberger. It's okay to play fast if you're playing bullet. It's a different time control. You're retired candidate master. Wow, no wonder he's so good. And you played on Play Chess. Autophagist. No, but I mean, I can sense it. There's no way that anybody 2000 is that subtle. You know, the subtle sort of hyper-modernism that you're using there. And I'm glad that you told me, because otherwise we're suspicious you're like a 13-year-old kid who's using his phone to play. You know, I understand. That makes sense to me. But, you know, most people here who are 2019 are much weaker than your level. But I appreciate when people like you, you know, take the time to say, hey, you know, this is who I am. Not real names, but explain, you know, because that helps. 52, it's almost as old as me. So that's not an excuse. I'm not that old yet, but I'm close. Last turn I played in 2002. Yeah, you should be 2200. Then I wouldn't be ashamed to lose. Most of the players who follow my stream are serious players, because I take the game seriously. I don't just play for fun, you know, bullet chess. And we attract mostly an audience of players between, let's say, 1700 and 2300. That's kind of what I do. There are some lower rated guys, but they're improving. But I knew there was something up with Autophagist, because that's a subtle game he's playing. Very hyper modern. It's kind of an advanced concept, you know. What I'm saying is, like, people who are around 1900, 2000 on Lead Chess don't generally have a good sense for hyper modern play, which Autophagist, like, clearly does. The way he was luring me to, like, weaken myself, that was definitely stronger than his rating level. I could sense it, you know. Finally, he had a winning position in time pressure, winning one of my pawns that fell, because I was overextended. It was all a battle of overextension, or inducing me to overextend. And the other thing that was telling, you know, is like your avoidance of exchanges shows a confidence that most people don't have. There was a player in the every Thursday now I'm playing in a blitz tournament here on Lead Chess, the Hungarian All-Stars, and there was an anonymous, what I thought was anonymous account rated around 2200, also super confident, and I realized who it was only to my detriment later. Very strong WIM, a specialist in blitz. She played the opening weakly, and then later I realized how tricky she is. I thought it was, you know, if you misjudge your opponent, a lot of danger can come to you. But I'm happy when people, you know, don't hide their identity. You don't have to name names, but when you say I'm a 52-year-old candidate master, it helps, you know. We have a little bit of an identity to work with, and I know you're not you know, somebody playing with their phone or something. Clearly, Autophagus is an experienced player if he can play like that. But anybody who's like 2200, basically candidate master strength, in general should be higher than 2000. I've got to watch this bishop a2. Well, I can't get used to the 3+2. I'm used to 3-second increments or no increment at all. And those are the two, those are the two speeds I can play. I'm horrible at the 3+2. Yesterday in 3-0 I was okay. As I said, if you can actually win on time, I understand the ramifications of that. But against skilled players, you can never win on time in this time control or 3+2. Because of the increment, that's the nature of it. You can't play exclusively for time. I just use this time control because it's like a teaching methodology. You know, I can explain the games better. The increment gives me time to actually explain ideas. Now finally we're winning. Hannisberger's time management is horrible. I think he's very talented though. Definitely could easily be 1900 in a matter of months. But you gotta slow down. It's not a race to see who can move the fastest. And it's too late if you have a lost position to start thinking. Okay? That's the number one reason why I advocate taking your time. If you're a grandmaster, you can play like Popjula or whoever. You know, you can play a 15-second game where you're playing almost perfectly. That's one thing. But if you're an amateur and you're trying to play, you know, the whole game in under a minute, I mean, the idea is not get a bad position in the first place. Alright, Hannisberger. He's still putting up resistance, you know, holding the line. Kind of tough blockade here. I'm only up the exchange. So imagine if he used all of his time earlier before he had a lost position to play tough. Still hard to break through. That's my problem with it, you know, in a nutshell. There's no sense like waiting to think until you have a lost position. If I get a winning position, I'm going to win that game most of the time, especially in increment time control. And that's the case with most decent masters. He tried to blockade, but it's impossible. Almost. I mean, I don't even have a pawn for this exchange. The whole thing is completely different. I'm talking about time management. If there's no increment, it's a completely different game. Then yes, you can be more justified in just trying to play like super fast at all costs. Very cagey defense. It's also unusual to see someone this capable of defense at his rating level. It's like pulling teeth. I'm up the exchange and a pawn now, which is too much. But he put up good resistance. It was too much of an advantage. I think he could have played bishop e7. Frankly. I like to oftentimes exchange down the winning king and pawn in games. That's kind of the simplest. So from a purist standpoint, You know, if you're low on time, you might want to know your king and pawn in games. You have to be careful. Is f4, g4 possibly defensible? No. f4, g4, king e6, king d3, king e5. I mean, that's a pretty tough call. But I mean, the first thing you should learn is king and pawn. And if nothing else, to improve your blitz game, master the king and pawn endgames with Karsten Mueller. Speaking of play chess, I was annoyed with them. This was like a couple years ago. I almost never used to play on play chess, but I have an account. I had accounts on there over the years, and they were one of the biggest chess sites. But it was so lame. Like, I wanted to just like log into my account, and I sent them a message for like a password reset, and I couldn't get it. It took like months to get them to answer me to reset my password. Like, nice customer service there. I was pretty turned off. I think that the play chess is kind of like the German version of ICC. Pretty much done. Alright, Hanischberger. Enough is enough. He's playing for a stalemate. Please, God, let it be over. Thank you for resigning. Let's focus a little more on unusual openings. That was supposed to be the theme of today's stream. Guys, please support the stream. Good to see Padron, Antonia, and Morales here. Did you guys have any good games in the tournament yesterday? Oh, you lost your connection, Ite. Sorry, dude. You'll have to wait. Wait, what is this? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to re-challenge. That was just a glitch. I didn't mean to re-challenge Hanischberger. Okay. So, did anybody have some interesting games? I noticed like Asterbait got paired with Orgasm Donor and Leon Levaich, two of the highest rated players, kind of ironically. I didn't even get paired with those guys in the streamer battle yesterday. Sorry, Hanischberger. So, unusual openings a little bit here. I like to play the Nimzovich, though I don't know the theory very well. You just got someone banned because swearing and cursing me in Spanish. Another notch on the belt for getting someone banned. That doesn't bother me so much. I find it kind of endearing when people curse at me in Spanish. This is an unusual move. G3. Yeah, the Orgasm Donor guy, well, we don't know he's non-titled, Robert. There's a lot of titled players who just don't want to attract attention. I would say it's 50-50. He could just be a really good blitz player who's non-titled, but he could also be a grandmaster, for all we know. I know a lot of grandmasters, well, not a lot, but some, who prefer their titles to be unannounced here. Autophagus, thanks for being part of the stream. So you don't know necessarily. More likely he's untitled than not, but alright, I guess this is a reasonable move. Antonio thought it was mandatory to announce it. Announce it to the world. Is this going to be like a King's Indian? It's funny the way he went for the kingside fianchetto. Never had anyone do that against me here. Reasonable. Perhaps I should consider kingside fianchetto, but that'll leave my d6 pawn weaker. He has to consider taking with the knight or the pawn. Positional player. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do what autophagus did, but I ended up with a bad structure. Queen takes also maybe more constructive than taking with the bishop. Okay, white has some weaknesses in the camp. I mean, the squares around here, the c4 pawn. I'm not sure that the slight structural advantage is a big deal. We should have enough, let's say, weak squares to compensate for the fact that we have an isolated pawn on d6. Similar to autophagus' strategy against me, to get me to overextend myself. I'm just not quite sure what the best plan is here. I mean, admittedly, the bishop on d5 is very strong. Admittedly. This wasn't my original plan. Strong player. Black's very compact, with one weakness. White's taking more space, focusing on that key square, d5. And if I had known that white was like an exclusively sort of positional player, I might have chosen to play differently. I'm better at adapting to the style of my opponents once I know them better, but it turns out that my opponent, which is kind of unusual, I think, is very positional. On Lichess, it's definitely unusual to see people with hyper-positional styles. Tactics are easier. It's easier to get to 2200 being a tactical player. Any park hustler can get to 2200 on tactics. Oof. White is like a genius. This is not my idea of fun. Thanks for saying the obvious, Robert. Makes me feel better about my position. I would be the first one to admit that my pawn on d6 is a weakness. Honestly, it's hard for me to maintain the pawn structure and do anything constructive here. The whole opening is sort of dubious for black. I was hoping he would recapture with the pawn. Hopefully he has some sort of weaknesses. I mean, I would assume you would if you're 2208. Maybe tactically he's not as good. But positionally, like, very principled. Bishop h6, not allowed. I mean, generally speaking, like one weakness shouldn't lose the game. This is like a tactical trick. Now I'm surprised to see him play that a little bit. Really. Based on the way he's played thus far. Kind of giving up your positional advantage for a cheap tactic. It's like when Wei plays e5 in the Sicilian. The whole game was based on positional stuff, and now he plays c5. Trying for this tactical trick. Yeah, but maybe it's just good. Anyways. Oh, it's all based on tricks. So he sees tactics too. That's impressive. Wow, nice game. I didn't think I was losing the exchange, or I wouldn't play queen d8 there. So he's awesome positionally and tactically. The perfect game. I'm curious if c5 is the #1 move for white. I thought it would give up his advantage. It does. But queen d8 is a blunder. This is actually a blunder that gives away all of his advantage. I mean, but I realized I have to be careful here. So I didn't think this worked. I mean, obviously I would play like rook here. His only inaccuracy is c5, which is actually a mistake. Crushed an IM the first try. Nice job. Puzzles 2060. So he's not really a tactical player. This is a mistake. I miscalculated though. I thought I could just recapture on d6. What I missed is this. I guess he saw this, which is sort of surprising, but knight e7 check. This is the reason why I lost, okay? Because I didn't see knight e7 check. He must have calculated that instantaneously. That was the reason why. What I didn't see. I'm not that good. I can't calculate that fast. But, impressive. Perfect game by white. Except for c5. Alright, Morales is up. Actually, those guys are subscribers. Impressive play. Yeah, I guess you're just lucky. Lucky that I played queen d8. I thought it was just equalizing, but it simply loses an exchange. c5 is a very serious mistake. You're throwing away all your advantage. And I knew that, but I didn't have the presence of mind to calculate correctly. I just can't calculate in positional positions. No, I don't know. No, it's not right. I mean, I really shouldn't promote this dichotomy, you know, which is already exaggerated about that G-spouts. It's not right. It's overly promoted. This whole concept of positional player, whatever. I mean, it's all relative. You should have a balance of both in your game. But we don't, you know, people don't. And you can kind of, I mean, basically, if I play someone who's 2200 and they're playing very positionally like this guy, right? You can pretty much read into them that they have to be bad tactically, because otherwise, if they were that good positionally and he's 2200, you know, if he was good tactically, he would be like 2500. You pretty much have to make assumptions about your opponents in the dark. But I think there's too much, too much bias based on this discussion of positional versus tactical in general. It's overrated. You know, it all depends on where you're coming from on the spectrum. I have people who are really good positional players who say that I'm a tactical genius, you know, and others that are like horrible positional players but really good tacticians say that I'm like terrible tactically. It depends on your perspective and your strengths and weaknesses. But I think that in general it's too simplified. I just look for weaknesses in my opponent. If my opponent's 2200 and they're awesome positionally, they pretty much necessarily have to suck tactically, because otherwise they would be as high rated as me or higher. So my last opponent, I didn't expect him to be good tactically. We calculated that pretty quickly. I'm surprised he's not higher rated. C5 was actually a positional mistake. Maybe I'm misreading him. You know, you can't base your judgment on one game. Another thing. I mean, he got a great positional position, but that's one game where I made the opening really easy for him. So now I'm like probably reading into him too much. He also had played G3 on like move 3. Tactical minded players generally don't play such setups. Like, who plays the way he played with G3 so early? That's almost certainly a strategic style player. So the combination of positional play, the early G3, I try to find weaknesses in my opponents, and then I can change the way I play. But if I'm going to drop the exchange, miscalculating 97 check, it's pretty much hopeless. I mean, yesterday in a strong arena, I played like 15 games against an average field of, I don't know, master, average, above master, and I only lost one game. Now I'm losing I have a losing position every game here on my stream. It's funny. Funny how that happens. Now I forgot I'm playing Morales. What did we get here in the opening? Morales played knight f3. What's going on? You're just having fun, huh? What's up, Antonio? Yeah, I mean, I don't think the G3 makes a lot of sense to commit that early. I generally don't like to play G3, Bishop G2 if I have a pawn on D5. But that's just me. Some people like to play the Benoni with white with G3. I'd rather my pieces weren't obstructed, but I don't think you're going to see too many master games with G3 being played in the first 4 moves against the Nimzovich defense. Well, against anything. You know, how often do you play G3 in the first 4 moves? Unless you're playing like a closed Sicilian. But if you were a player who played the closed Sicilian, you probably wouldn't play E4 and D4. It's unusual to play E4, D4, and G3. Like against the Pirc defense, it's not a bad line. D4, E4, Knight C3, G3 on move 4. But then again, like, people who play like that are almost always very positional players. Karpov plays Karpov used to play g3 against the Pirts. The Catalan's different though, you know, because Agnes Karadziewski, when you play d4, right, you're not playing e4, you're playing d4, and you don't have a pawn on e4. And so when you're playing d4, c4, bishop g2, your bishop is unobstructed on the long diagonal. When you play e4, in any kind of opening with e4, your bishop on g2 is necessarily going to be obstructed by your own pawn structure. It's going to be obstructed by the pawn on e4. It's going to be obstructed by, you know, the d pawn moving to d5, that type of thing. So I think that's why right out of the gate, like, g3 is kind of more natural when you play d4. It can be very powerful in a long diagonal. The bishop is basically dominating from g2 clear down to a8 without a pawn on e4. But most setups with white where you play e4 and you're playing bishop g2, they're kind of like solid positional setups. The King's Indian attack, the closed Sicilian, the Pirts with g3, anything like that. Very solid positional sort of stuff. So Antonio's tricky. He's playing knight f3 though for our fun Wednesday. Come on, dude. I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do. You're not giving me any fun. Speaking of autophagist, who was rated 2019, Morales is like 2033, but I think. How did you do, Morales, in the... You played in our team thing, no? I can't keep track of everything. B3 for French. It's a move, you know, it shouldn't be critical, but it's not bad. He's not giving me anything here. I'm short of time and ideas too. You could easily, why Antonio doesn't play rated games enough? He plays well though. He's like autophagist, way better than 2000. You got like 50% against me, lifetime score. Almost 50%. You got flagged? Wow. They stopped with the jackhammer though. Now we've got ambulance. You're gonna play knight a4, right? This is a double-edged move. Blockading now becomes a realistic strategy. Instantly played. Yeah, this is tough. It's like some kind of really weird Runefeld. Where are you heading for? F4 looks risky. I don't think he's going to do that. So you don't think the dichotomy is wrong? But I think it's overused, oversimplified and overused. Rookman. I'm just as guilty as everybody else, though, of overusing it. But truthfully, not a lot of people are completely one-sided or the other. We're talking about positional versus tactical. They're not mutually exclusive, obviously. I just think it misleads a lot of beginners into thinking like they should be one or the other, you know. So many people take it for granted. The Great Blockade. The Great Blockader. Permanent guest. Did you hate the permanent house guest? Never leaves. Very complex structure with the imbalance here. I'm banking everything on f5, but the question is when. The answer is as soon as possible, right? Even my rook can lift over. I mean, we're at the end of the day, right? This position, we're almost winning because we have more space, because of the pawn on d4. I think that Morales should have taken with the queen. That would have given him counterplay down here with queen g5. Huge difference, right? If you give yourself that added counterplay, maybe with queen g5 you could have perhaps contained it. Rook e1, lucky defense. I'm not sure we're winning. Probably. But he ruined my cheap tactic with like rook takes f2 check. 93 wins in exchange. But I wanna win that material on the optimum. Under optimum conditions. I may not have another option though. Queen f3 check, king g1. In the vacuum, he should get one pawn for the exchange and have a pretty solid position. So this is not really that big an achievement for me. And I didn't see that queen f3 really changes the equation in any way. It would have forced his king to g1 rather than g2, if that makes a difference. Okay, this is officially scary. I may be screwed here. Almost screwed. I'm probably fighting for a draw now. That was another good move. Now I'm probably lost. I mean, he's 2033. Really? It's ridiculous. Like, Antonio, I don't know about your rating, man, but you're way too good for this rating. Damn, look at this. I'm totally winning. How did I miss something obvious here? Why is the computer saying +8? I had queen f3 check. How does that even work? That's crazy. So I was winning with that. But I'm down to seconds, and I thought this was enough. I misjudged this ending completely. With seconds left, I thought I was better. You cannot judge the position by the computer analysis. That's based on depth 19, you know. If I can play 19 perfect moves, then it's a tiny advantage for black, theoretically. But in most cases, this king is coming toward the center. I'm losing my c6 pawn. He already has an exchange. So now it's like a question of black holding on. And I thought I had time for a4. But apparently I'm losing the thread completely here. This was a really aggressive move, by the way. I did not expect b4. I figure you would take, I would scoop one of the b pawns and we would draw. But when you played this, I just completely malfunctioned. One thing I probably missed here was rook b8. That doesn't work. So I have to play rook c8 now. The idea of rook b8 fails to knight takes c6. a3, rook takes b4 would be good for me. You can't stop the pawn in time. You know, this variation would obviously be, you know, I think I'm okay here. But you've got knight takes c6, conveniently. So the truth of the position is that I'm just drawing at best. But with seconds left, he plays this aggressive move b4. Now I'm lost. I thought I would have something here, but his pawns are too fast. It looks lost. Okay, king f7, 2 connected past pawns with that knight. I thought there's some way my rook could slip into the back rank and get behind and get the a pawn. King e3, king e6, king d4, forget about it. There may be some miraculous draw. I kind of doubt it. The knight and 2 pawns are sort of optimal here. Morales is brutal. Alright. I got about 45 minutes left, guys. But I mean, I should have seen better. I don't know what my plan originally was. This is the other move that totally shocked me. I didn't even see this variation. I mean, anybody normal, honestly, Morales, anybody normal would have played rook takes e3, pawn takes e3, rook takes e3, wouldn't they? I mean, I don't understand what you're thinking. Are you, like, playing for a win here? You totally, like, shocked me. Don't you want to just, like, consolidate your position and hold? This is almost like you're trying to play for more, to take the pawn on e5. It never, in my wildest imagination, occurred to me to take this pawn. To leave a pawn on e3 in this position, honestly, with white, you're asking for death, you know? I mean, you're lucky that queen takes e5 doesn't win. But the real thing is this, you know, I think you're playing rook takes e3. You're not drowning, you're not down material, you have a solid blockade here. Like, I think it's a draw, probably. Maybe not. But I would think, like, this would be a no-brainer. Your position is consolidated. All your pieces are kind of, like, coordinated together. You don't have that many weaknesses. It's totally equal. I mean, you're not normally thinking of playing defensively. But, I mean, I was shocked. You totally shocked me when you played rook takes e5. Like, I would not even consider that move. I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be a bitch to win this position after rook takes e3. You know, and then how the hell am I going to win this? You have a sort of fortress. But when you play rook takes e5, I was like, what? I did not see this at all. So I could take on f2. Well, I mean, the main point... Yeah, you're down a rook, man. I should have seen that. Abject Pawn. Who else is a subscriber? I should play, well, this is not happening. Troll and a roll, only if we have extra time, dude. Alright. Weird openings Wednesday. Thanks for joining me, guys. And girls. Let's play Latvian. Yeah, I missed queen f3. But that's what happens when the opponent plays a move you completely don't expect, you know. Unexpected moves are very, very tricky. Not really the most common line against the Latvian. And I guess black's okay here. Remember Nimzovich had a game, a very old game from the early 1900s, where he played like bishop c4, d5, bishop b3, which I thought is a really interesting plan. He actually allowed black to play d5, put the bishop on b3, but he didn't play knight c3. He allowed black to establish a center with d5 and then blasted black's center with the move c4, which still stands today as a sort of offbeat variation against the Latvian. Nimzovich was actually from Latvia, I think. Knight c3. We have d6. How's your knight doing? It's the Petrov. It's a strange Petrov. You know what? Now I just realized the Nimzovich game I'm talking about actually involved knight c4, knight e3 first. This knight was back on b1. Similar variation to this, actually. What would he have played in that game? One of the first Latvians ever. Maybe even that's why it's called a Latvian. But bishop c4 immediately couldn't have been played because the black chased the knight back to e3 first, and then white played like bishop c4. I can't remember now. Whatever. Come on in. You can come on back. Maybe you should come back to e5 in that position. You're threatening knight takes d5 here. It's kind of a trick. He's threatening knight takes d5 and queen h5 check. White has f3. The only break now. Oh, you're going to check me. You're going to play bishop h5 check? It's kind of time consuming. You wouldn't do that. Guys, thanks for supporting the stream by subscribing and donations. Castles. Well, I mean, white's going to have to break. He doesn't have the Nimzovich c4. Speaking of Nimzovich again, the principle was, which he promoted, of course, attack the base of the pawn chain, not the head of the pawn chain. So this is necessarily more powerful than this. c4 is necessarily more powerful than e4. You're attacking me on my strong point. c4 attacks the base. This is a weak. What do they call that battery? The weak battery, but it's better to have it front loaded in general. Yeah, minority attack here, a little bit inconsequential. That's a very slow plan. That's really attacking the base of the pawn chain. Abject pawn is risking his king's safety. But objectively, what if we go fully primitive here? I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it feels wrong in a way. It's like not non-developmental. My pieces are just sitting here on the queen side. I'm playing down 3 pieces, going for this sort of beginner attack. Queen e1, of course. Queen e1 is the only defense that's obvious. My instinct was that he might have something better. Well, my fear is that he has something better. And that may be the case. It's not my day today. He plays knight f5 almost instantaneously. Yeah. Just winning immediately. But don't give too many ite. Don't give too many moves like while we're playing. I don't see how I can defend against this. Maybe I have something. I guess I could sack my queen if I had to. I can always sack my queen, but I don't really know if I have enough. Like, okay, rook f5, pawn e4, bishop f4, queen f4, rook f4, bishop f4. Not clear if it's enough. The problem is queen h4, bishop at g5. That's a little disturbing. It's possible I have some sort of miracle defense there. Yeah, no development. I mean, I feel like I should be lost here. It's a bad idea to play queen c7. Brilliant play by my opponent, who was 0-11 against me. I don't really know what else to do. Am I just losing directly now? Yeah, there's a lot of players like that who have terrible scores against me, but shouldn't. Funny how I'm losing every single game I play today. Queen F1. Not best. Still white has a vicious initiative. Yeah, I mean, that's the secret move, right? But I have this. It might have been stronger earlier. He had a much more crushing continuation previously. You're 1500 in bullet. I don't know where my time even went to. Lucky if I survive here. Obviously, I can't play Rook F8. Mate into. He's 1500 in bullet. This was brutal. That's the one move that refutes black's whole position. Knight F5. I mean, he played the opening kind of passively, but when it came down to the critical position, it's just vicious now. Knight F5. Winning by force. That's also non-obvious move here. Knight takes e4, because bishop c4 is very tempting, but this is stronger. And this is a mistake. You have bishop c4 first, when I don't know if I can play this. I mean, I should try it, probably. But it's still a disaster. No, I mean, I felt queen g3 was a bad move when I played it, but I didn't see knight f5. I was afraid of queen e1. Worst case scenario, queen e1. I mean, I'm not in any danger, you know. But I completely missed this crushing move, knight f5. Next, crusher. Asmir, your turn to kill me. Used only 2 minutes for the whole game there, Abject Pawn. So bullet might be up your alley. I don't understand how you would be 1500. Well, I mean, there's an increment, but still, you could play like 2-2 bullet or whatever. It's not bullet. I'm just like losing every single game I play against everybody. It's kind of weird. It's a little weird. I don't think I'm that weak. Well, I mean, I don't play like this, you know, talking about the game when I'm playing, you know, on my own. I try to explain ideas. So I'm using most of my time for stuff I wouldn't normally do. I'm obviously not going to perform as well as if I was just like playing, fully concentrating on the result. But still, it's unusual that I lose every single game I play against an average field of like 1900. Yeah, no, I would never play Queen G3. I was a little overconfident at that point, though. I mean, that's kind of weird, right? It led me to losing a game in a 3-2 tournament last Thursday. I played this WIM. She played the opening horribly, passively, had a lost position in like 15 moves. And I wasn't sure who it was, you know, and I just thought it was this like weak player. How could they play the opening so bad? And then I just let down my guard. And next thing I know, she's completely outplaying me. It just happened that she's weak in the openings, and the rest of her game is like fast. Tactically, she's good, and as soon as I started to underestimate her, she started getting into the part of the game where she's better. And after the game, I realized who it was because I didn't know who I was playing. If I had known who I was playing, I would have been a lot more careful. But when the opponent plays really, really badly, like a beginner in the first 15 moves, there's a tendency to say, oh, okay, well, I mean, this player is just going to like roll over and die. My opponent in the last game, you know, he basically didn't handle the opening right, so you start to be overconfident, and then making a move like Queen G3 is easier to do. Yeah, but Edward Elric, that's very unusual, you know. I don't think that most people who are 2200 are going to have like a 3-20 score against me. That's pretty low, you know. I should have a winning score, but that's a little bit... If my rating is like 2400, let's say, your rating is 2200, I mean, you can do the math, but I think it's got to be... Your results should be much better than that, you know, something like 33%, 40%. I'm not sure exactly where it's at. Right. There's certain people you stylistically do better against, and certain people you do stylistically worse. But I still think that's a very high score for me, for someone who's 2200. If I was more like 2700 level, Lichess rating, which I could be if I was at my like peak form, but I'm not. Maybe that would be something I could be expected to score. It's a little high, I think. Again, if I was in my peak form, like 2000, 2003 blitz strength. In my peak blitz form on the Internet Chess Club, probably around 2003, I was like 2900. the ratings there were maybe a little bit more inflated than here, but not that much. You know, I was probably at my best peak form. I probably could hit in the 2800s on Lichess and Blitz, but those days are past. Unless I guess I got back to just playing Blitz all the time. I could easily be like 2600 here, but I think I would top out at around 20 in the 2600s. But if you take it back like 15 years, when I was playing a lot, you know, then a score like 20-3 would be reasonable. Well, Astrobate, I don't know. You know, I don't know about correlating online ratings to like over the board ratings. That's pretty hard to do. But I do know that my Blitz game is not up to what it used to be. But my strongest time control is 5-0. I have the most practice in that time control. But I think in my peak, I was like in the best list on Internet Chess Club in 5-0. Top 25 once or twice. Which was quite an achievement back in the day. Increment is weird. It's really not my preferred time control. Even though I do it for my streams, I only do it because of the instructional value of having extra time to talk. I mean, look how solid even Osmir's is. I have almost nothing here. Three two is probably my worst time control, other than Bullet, which I don't play. 3-2 is horrible. I've been playing the stream with 3-second increments, and I can't adjust. I'd rather have 3-0 than 2-second increments. At least in 3-0 I can win by time, but in 3+2 you can't even win by time, so it ceases to have a point for me. At least in 3-0 I can threaten to win on time, which is an advantage for me. But 3+2 feels like hopeless. I'm worried about losing on time. My opponents are never going to lose on time. Asmir's play is... This guy is ridiculous. I mean, look at this score. How can he be 1.5? Again, it's like... It's impossible. Check his score. 1.5 to 48.5. And he plays like this. How is it possible? And this is not like the first game. How in the world can this player have 1.5 out of 50 games against me? It's practically impossible. He's playing this game like God. Here, maybe I have something now with e5. I was a little concerned about pawn takes pawn f4 for a second. But it looks like f5 is reckless. You certainly don't need to play that move. Maybe just lack of endgame. Judgment is the reason why Asmir's has such a bad score. Because like tactically and speed-wise, there's no way this player should have that bad a score. Do you think the official blitz tournaments must have increment? Dude, the only reason I'm not 1-1 against Hikaru in over the board blitz is because he was like knocking over the clock and spazzing out, you know. It's very difficult to control that sort of stuff. But I mean, it's been done for years. I don't know. I don't believe that I have the score against Asmir's. I don't even know how that's possible. Now he's starting to play well in the end game for this game. I feel like there's some study-like move here. But you can do takes in Queen C8, but again, try not to kibitz like variations while we're playing Edward Elric. It's not really cool. But guys, we're actually playing without a delay or anything, so when you're suggesting moves, it's kind of cheating. We don't do that. Maybe like after the fact or something. But I'm not convinced this is enough. He's going to have good chances for a perpetual here. I'm not convinced this works at all, actually. I don't think I'm even winning. Absolutely insane move. King d5. Does he have perpetual? Not a short stream, masturbate. I just have to leave like 15 minutes early. A little short. This guy is faster than me. And he's played master level this whole game until maybe King d5. f5 was unnecessarily risky. That's the kind of move that can get you in trouble. Like, I don't see f5 as a rational move to make, you know, like giving me a pass pawn. Sort of insane. Now he has perpetual. I mean, seriously, King d5. It's not even necessary to go King d5. Just King e7 would be like the rational move to make in this position. What is going on today? Everybody is like a grandmaster. Now I'm gonna get mated if I go here. Attacking. You're risking losing with king d5. You're not really attacking. You have no winning chances. You might be on tilt, yeah, if you play king d5. This game by black is... It's like, am I getting trolled today or something? Like, I can't win a single game against anybody. He's got a minute more than me. And I didn't even play that bad. I'm on tilt. What did I do that was on tilt? Are you serious? Do you think there's something in the way I played here was on tilt? I played like the most solid game in the world. How can I be on tilt here? Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, he's on tilt for putting his king on d5 and playing f5. This guy played like a perfect game, man. I mean, other than the unnecessarily risky f5, king d5, there's nothing tilted about White's game. I mean, I'd be the first to admit if I was on tilt, but you couldn't play a more controlled game than what I played here. He's playing like a maniac, like h6. If anything, I played too conservatively. E5's, look at that engine. It's like, check this move out. E6 is his best move. He finds that. Critical moment to play this move. I mean, this is the kind of thing that makes me frustrated, you know? He finds e6 here. I'm sure he has perpetual, man. I play the best moves and I still can't win. King f7, again, the best move. Critical position. He was actually winning? What? So the winning move for me is queen g3, if you can calculate 20 moves deep. But apparently that's the only one. Never even occurred to me. I might find it in a tournament game or just get lucky. But you're looking toward the C file all the time. Yeah, I mean, this is insane. King d5 is just insane. King e7 was my problem. And that's why I don't even think that I should play... I don't even think I should play bishop takes bishop and queen c8 check, which Elric suggested. But this is a computer move. I don't know, man. It's like 19 moves deep. Analysis. King f7, e6 check. You've got to calculate 20 moves deep and a queen ending. You know, it's easier if you're a computer. But I no longer have a passed pawn there. You know, that wasn't like my preferred method of play. No human being is gonna see through that 20 moves deep. The only way of winning this position for a human being is like this passed pawn somehow. But to play king d5 and say he's attacking. But again, I'm not capable of realizing this. If it's a winning position, I'm not a computer. You know, queen g8 check looks insane. Because I'm bringing this king in to really maybe help to checkmate me or something like that. Another computer variation. Cold-blooded computer variation here. You have to see this move. But I'm just not a computer, you know. Guys, I gotta go, so this is probably my last game. Thanks to the others for your challenges. I've got to leave early today. Princess Chess, Yevgeny, and Troll. The Rookman playing the London system. I feel like Lurch from the Addams Family. When people play the London system against me, please. This opening has to just be eliminated from chess. So I had a game yesterday against a good player who played Bishop G5 against me. Bishop G3 is interesting because it sort of puts me to a ultimatum, like either take it now or don't take it. We'll have to look that up. But I think the London system is lame. It's like some sort of trend to play this opening. I never imagined that. It's not exciting or interesting. I would quit chess if I started playing the London system every game. But I understand if you have a limited amount of time or something. So now what's the best setup for black? I'm tempted to play c5 for some reason here. You know, to enhance the long diagonal. Queen b4 maybe? Of course you gotta be careful not to get your queen trapped. I think white should play faster. But e5 looks like a bad move. He had an interesting position, just playing too fast. You just gave away like all your advantage, or you just sort of threw away your whole position. just like bad time management. Why are you playing so fast? Again. Now black is better instead of slightly worse. Maybe he plays a lot of bullet. White had a really interesting position before e5. Rolls eyes. I better not hear thunder. We had like 20 days of bad weather and it stopped yesterday. It better not start again. Did I miss bishop f3, rook d2? No, I just don't understand the point of playing 5-3 games. Bullet style. Bishop f5 is tempting here. Maybe queen. Yeah, let's keep it simple. I don't think I should refuse. Rook d2 is interesting. Probably have to take the pawn though. If you want to play for time, that's fine, Edward Elric, but I would recommend doing it in sudden death or maybe like with a 1 or 2 second increment. But trying to play for time against a strong player with 3 second increment is a good recipe for a guaranteed loss. That's the reason why I use the 3 second increments. You can't play these time controls with 3 seconds for time. That's the entire point of the time control. 2 seconds I'm definitely gonna get losing on time, but not in 3. Not usually. But it's kind of like a meme of my stream. Playing the London system and playing super fast. It's like everything that I hate about chess. Man, this game is taking forever. I gotta go, guys. Just the fact the game's taking forever tells you that you shouldn't be playing for time. It's like a 15-minute game at 5+3. Maybe more. 6 seconds per move. Say 60 moves. 360 seconds. Plus the 10 minutes. Comes out to like 16 minutes. You never seem to have a tactic. Speaking of tactics, I never seem to have a tactic when I need one. That's a good blunder by me. This game will be like half an hour. By the time it's over. I shouldn't allow any change of queens. Interestingly, Rookman is 1900 in bullet. I was playing people yesterday who were like 2500 in bullet. In 3-0. Though I don't play bullet myself. He seems crazy fast to be 1900. Some of those guys that I faced yesterday, unbelievable. But this is like playing a master, like a FIDE, strength master. Defense here. The speed with which he's playing it reminds me of a tournament game. Rook c4, a highly accurate move. He's actually gaining time. How could you be 1900 in bullet playing like that? Wow, check this out. He's actually calculated that. $1900 in bullet. None too believable. Sees every threat instantaneously. But he's 1900. There's like no way you could be 1900 in bullet and defend like that. Finally. Finally. Look at this technique. I mean, get realistic. That's ridiculous. Nobody can play like that if you're 1900. You would be like 2400 easy with skill like that in bullet. Probably one of the most competitive players I've ever seen. Wow. What a seriously crazy competitive defense by White. That's just insane. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. Yeah, I mean, he could easily be like 2400 in bullet. Anyway. Alright, WJ Lou, thanks for the 200 bits. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow night, subscriber stream / All-Star Arena. That's an interesting comment. But I don't know what that has to do with anything. I don't think you're a computer. I don't know why you're saying that. I'm just saying, like, you're not 1900 in bullet. That's a ridiculous rating. If you can play like that, you know, you should be much higher in bullet. I mean, you're clearly not a 1900 lead chess player in bullet if you can play like that. Oh, you only play versus streamers, so you're like a streamer specialist. Understand? Okay. We'll talk to you guys later. Thursday, I've got Arena with the Hungarian guys and subscriber stream. So please, Astrobate's the only one who submitted a game. We'll see you. We'll see you guys for Thursday. If you got a game, please submit it. I've got time for a few. I'll see you guys there. Bye bye.